Pull the string! Pull the string!
Since starting Staunch TV, well, I've uncovered some very cool and strange things about some of my favorite films. Information that was never heard before, such as the making of Repossessed with Leslie Nielsen, or the story of Tim Roth's very first American film, even before Reservoir Dogs. And the links to those videos will be down in the description. But sometimes the info uncovered on this show is on the darker side. And for better or worse, the story is told here again to avoid certain mistakes in the future. However, sometimes it's not a mistake that leads to the darkness. Rather, it's simply misinterpreting art.
I'm sick of it. You don't have that option to be sick of it. You're so lucky. I love you, Kyle.
A while back, I made a series of videos on the apparently cursed film Black Circle Boys, directed by Matthew Carnahan. A film based on a shocking true crime that had some very strange occurrences take place during and after filming. Occurrences that affected the cast and the crew alike. Now, I recently came upon some new information on the film, and I'll be putting together a short documentary to be released on Devil's Night, chronicling the film. But for now, here is one of the more interesting things I've ever been privy to on this channel.
One of the things that happened that I don't know that I've never talked about is after the Columbine massacre school shootings, I got a call after that from People magazine of all places asking how I felt about the fact that a VHS copy of Black Circle Boys was found in the VCR of the shooters. I didn't know that until that fall. It was devastating. I had made a movie about personal responsibility for the first time in our lives, take responsibility fully for our actions. That was what I had tried to make a movie about. I feel like on some levels I really succeeded. It also made me realize that when you put dark stuff into the world, people can take it in the direction that they're going to take it. That definitely colors how I feel about it and how I have made my work since.
Now, you would think that this information would have been all over the news at the time, but, Basketball Diaries had a scene very, very similar to what actually happened. And it had Leonardo DiCaprio. But, to know that your film may have inspired some horrible events like this, that must have been a hard thing to deal with. And while Matthew went on to make another standout film, he wouldn't do anything as daring or as dark as Black Circle Boys. Ever again, seemingly. And for good reasons. Rest in peace to all the victims of the Columbine tragedy. And, to Matthew Carnahan, well, Black Circle Boys is a great film with a lot to say. So, don't hold it against yourself, dude. And Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, they kept diaries, and in them were listed their favorite movies. And Black Circle Boys wasn't on that list. Aesthetic is aesthetic. There was not even one gunshot in the entire film, even. And so, it inspired, I don't know. I think maybe they just took some of the images, maybe, but considering that it wasn't on that list, maybe they weren't even too familiar with the film. Maybe Black Circle Boys was in his VCR, and that was like the last film they watched, even. I'm sure the plan was already in motion. Anyways, stay tuned to see the full documentary, which will be up soon. Hit that notification bell too, why don't you? It's Staunch-O-ween.